Good evening, lovely people out there. Welcome to the GOA Weekly Show. I am Straightjacket Jim, and we're joined by Natty again. Oh,
hello. I was going to jump in and be
I know,
like,
I know.
I'm Natty, and I just missed it.
You know, for a second, I almost left it thinking maybe she'll probably jump in and say something, but we're not quite there yet. We're getting there with this synergy, but we're not quite there.
Dynamic duo, we'll get there.
That's it. Cool. And hello to all our viewers live on Twitch, or if you listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. And a special hello to our GOA members, who are our paid subscribers here at GOA, who get access to things like there's a few popping up on Facebook recently. All the founders that have been here for 3 months are starting to get their keyring. I saw that.
That's super cool.
They look really cool.
Yeah.
And also our weekly prize draw for indie games. And as well as things like discounts for with our various partners around the place, like Lenovo Legion and Pentanet.
I know. All these super secret and amazing prizes that we should just let people know about.
That's it. You should definitely join up if you're not a member already. It's really cool. But yeah, we had a bit going on recently. Like, rumors are really heating up about a Switch Pro, or like I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter wanting to call it a Super Nintendo Switch, and I'm kind of on board with that right now.
Super Nintendo Switch, I love that. Look, as long as they don't call it the Switch U.
Oh, yeah. And it comes with an extra screen that nobody quite knows what it's for.
And people won't know whether it's a new console or if it's just an extra bit to go with your current one. No, I mean, it is really exciting. Rumors coming through Bloomberg and Forbes as well about an insider leaking that they're going to start manufacturing the new console in July, hopefully for an August-September release, which would be super cool.
It'd be very cool. Like, not that anything's particularly wrong with my old Switch, but it would be nice to get a little bit extra storage, I think. But yeah, like, it even popped up for a bit on Amazon Mexico as well, which came down pretty quickly. So whether that was just Amazon sort of jumping the gun a little bit, trying to be prepared for as soon as it was announced, or if they know something that we don't. And
well, I know they were saying the stock prices for Nintendo have been surging the last 4 or 5 days. I think people are expecting the announcement soon. Very soon.
Well, Bloomberg was saying that before E3, and E3 starts on the 12th, which is less than, about a week and a half away now. So it's getting very close. So hopefully we'll hear something by then, and then we'll see it, maybe see a demo at E3 for those lucky enough to get there.
That would be very cool. Is E3's all online? I think this year.
Is it? I'm not 100%. I thought they were still trying to do something in person, but I didn't know if that went ahead or not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they've kept it all online this time around,
which is fair enough. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, I was reading about it, and it sounds like it's going to be more expensive than the Switch was on release, which is a little bit disappointing, but it sounds like they're putting in a few extra features and some of the components they're having to use because there's such high demand for the components I think they were planning to use. So they bumped them up a little bit, which is probably going to result in a higher price on launch as well.
Which I don't mind paying a little bit more. Like, Nintendo's consoles have always been around the sort of $400 Australian mark, and I think that's because they've just kept them as game machines. You know, it's not the all-in-one entertainment devices that the PlayStations and the Xboxes have tried to be, so you can keep costs a little bit lower.
Yeah, I'm fingers crossed. We'll just have to kind of wait and see on that, see what it pans out to be. But I think the other thing they're rumoring is the 4K compatible, which is important to some, but not as important to others.
It is, but you know, you're talking to a guy who the first time he saw the difference between standard definition and high definition TV was on a 65-inch TV that he bought himself a couple of years ago. So like, it's not like, for me, I understand it's a big thing for some people, but for me, I'd rather have a good game. And if Nintendo can use some extra processing power to run Breath of the Wild 2 and make it so that the game doesn't chug whenever there's a lot of grass blowing in the wind, that would be amazing.
Yeah, look, if they can work out the frame rate drops, that would just be great.
Yeah.
I'm very much like you, being a little bit vision impaired. I don't tend to notice the super high fidelity graphics. Always about the gameplay over how shiny something is. So We'll just have to wait and see, I guess. Just hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll get something actually land.
Hopefully a bit more storage. Like the 32 gig that it's got at the moment isn't quite enough when you're trying to get people to download games. And like, most of the games I download are sort of more the indie ones. So luckily storage for me hasn't been an issue, and I'm still very much a physical media sort of person when it comes to the big release titles. So that hasn't been too bad. But yeah, it'd be nice to get that little bit of extra storage, I think.
Yeah, it's always difficult when they're like trying to push the digital game fronts and buy all your games digital and you'll get bonuses or it's slightly cheaper, and then you go, oh yeah, but I don't have any storage space.
Yeah. And then do weird things like, I know it takes an SD card or micro SD card, I think, but I think it could only be used for storage. You couldn't actually play games off it. Which was,
really?
Yeah, it's like, and to get to it, you couldn't just, there wasn't just a little flap that you could open up and stick a card in. You had to like unscrew something off the back and put the card in. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That just sounds like a pain.
Yeah. But
so it sounds like you already know what you want
I
the new
I
Switch.
know exactly what I want. I wouldn't mind getting like on the Switch itself a better screen, but that doesn't have to be like, it's 720p at the moment, but in a screen that's only like this big, it doesn't need to be too big of a resolution. But getting rid of Joy-Con drift would be a good thing too. I would like that.
That would be good. That would be very good. The amount of people that had to send the controllers back to get fixed. Hopefully.
And the amount of time that Nintendo just stuck their head into sand and just decided that it wasn't a thing.
No, Nintendo never do that.
No. It sounds bad. Like I love Nintendo, but there are just some things that they just they need to work on a little bit, because no company's perfect. You know, continuous improvement. That's what it's about.
That's what it is. Yeah, we like to see them moving forward, and they always are. Just sometimes still hanging on to those old issues.
That's it. Yeah.
I think I would be super keen for them to have a native voice chat built in. That's what I would like.
Yep.
We'll see about that.
Yep. Get rid of that app. Give us native voice chat, please.
Yeah,
please.
Just the little things. Some kind of friend management system on your console that works well would be good.
Yeah, that's more a sort of software thing, but it would be nice to get all that sort of stuff in there as well, and see, like, I've talked about it a lot, but Nintendo's online, like Super Mario Party on the Switch, it's been out for like a year and a half, 2 years. It's only just got an online multiplayer. Sorry, I should correct that. Only just got online multiplayer where you can play on the boards against friends. You've been able to play like the mini games against your mates for a while, but yeah, that was just weird.
They take their time. I vaguely recall there's some issue with they didn't have a microphone receiver technology in the Switch or something, and that's why the native voice comms was an issue. I don't know if that's possibly me making up stuff, but I vaguely recall it could have been connected to hardware as well, why they didn't have that running a little better than it could. So yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers something crossed. Amazing. In all of our favourite colours too. None of this release it in just grey and then give us colours later. We want a few choices to start with, please.
I've already pre-ordered my my Skyward Sword Joy-Cons because they just look amazing.
Yeah, that's a good call.
But yeah, leading up to E3, an exciting time though. Hopefully we get to see a few more announcements. But one that we have seen a bit more of is Far Cry 6.
We did, and you stayed up late to watch that launch, didn't you?
Everybody thinks that I stayed up late just for that. It just so happened that it was a Friday night, and I'd just finished my stream on my own personal channel, and I'd gone and I'd raided somebody and sat down and was just doing something, and I saw on Twitter this was coming up soon, and I went, "What time is it?" Yeah, that's about now. Let's watch that then. And I figured while I'm here, let's just write a story, and yeah. So
why not? If you're up already.
Yeah.
I remember to make sure I released an article on time. I set my phone at the release time to get up to launch the article, post to say I've done it, and then go back to bed.
That's it.
Oh,
it's looking really good. Like the graphics on it look good, and just anything that Giancarlo Esposito's in, I'm just a massive fan of. He just plays such a good bad guy.
yeah. I've got so much. I don't know if nostalgia is the right word, but
Mhm.
just so much love for his charisma and the way
Mhm.
he carries himself from
Yeah.
Breaking Bad. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him as the
Mhm.
well. Yeah, I want to say villain, but they were during the trailer they and the discussion they were really talking about how he had a lot of complex motives and things might
Mhm.
not be as clear as they seem. So
Yeah.
maybe he's not the straight out villain and he's got a bit of grey going on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Complex villains are always nice, so you can have a little bit, not just I am blowing up the world because I want to blow up the world. Yeah, although those villains are good too. Uncomplicated villains are good, but yeah, in this case, I'm glad that there'll be some extra motivations there as well.
Yeah, yeah. So what did you think of the trailer and the other information that they released in the video packages?
Looking at it, because I've played, probably there's two Far Cry games that I've played fairly recently. I played one way back in the day, but the franchise has moved on from that a lot now. So, but I've played Far Cry 4 and Far Cry 5. So that was the Far Cry 4 was the one with Pagan Min, where famously you could finish the game just by sitting at the table for 5 minutes. Because like the whole thing starts like you're going back to bring your mum's ashes back to your home country and scatter them, and Pagan Min, the bad guy, picks you up and he takes you to his compound and you're having dinner and whatnot, and eventually he gets up to go and do something. You hear someone screaming like they're being tortured. So what the game wants you to do is to get up and go and find out what's going on and like get out of there. And that kickstarts the whole however many hours campaign. But if you stay in that chair for like 5 or 10 minutes, he'll come back, like you'll finish dinner and he'll go, yep, no worries. You'll scatter your mother's ashes and then you'll go and the game will be over.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so funny.
But But I really liked that one, and I probably came to it a bit late because I found it in a bargain bin for $9, and not having played Far Cry since the first one, I just loved that one so much, and I got way more than $9 worth of enjoyment out of it. So then I
I'll
bought
have
Far
to
Cry
taste, have to
5.
taste the wait.
Yeah,
Oh, yes. And
and
that one, what did you think of that one?
it wasn't for. I think the setting was the problem for me. Like the gameplay was sort of more of the same, where you've got the outpost to go and capture. One thing I love about those two games was the choices that you got. So you could stealth your way through, quietly kill enemies and hide the bodies somewhere, or you could go in all guns blazing and just like kill everything if you wanted to do it, or there was a whole different options that you could use to take the outpost. But after just having sunk so much time into Far Cry 4, 5 felt more of the same, and it felt more urgent, but there wasn't anything forcing you to go and do the main storyline sort of thing. It felt like that was time sensitive, and you should have been doing that, kind of like a lot of games where they open up and say, this is really urgent. Hang on, I'm just over here doing this first. I've got to do this side quest before I need to go
Yes.
and do the main stuff,
Yeah. The main
Mm.
quest is highly time sensitive, and
Mm.
you must. Oh, what was the famous game for it? One of the Batman games where they poison you at the beginning, and you've got to
Oh,
try and
yeah.
find the antidote.
It was,
But don't worry, you can go and solve all of Riddler's
that's
riddles
right,
along the
yeah.
way.
Or Breath of the Wild, you get out. We mentioned that before, but you get out of the thing. You go, Link, hurry up! I can't hold him for much longer. No worries, just hang on. I'm going to track down all 900 of these Korok seeds first. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
and, but looking at 6, it sort of seems to me more that it'll be more like Far Cry 4 in terms of the story than 5. So it feels like it's more guerrilla warfare type thing, which makes sense if you're a single player going off and doing stuff. But it sort of feels like you'll build up a resistance as well. So I'm hoping that's the case, and then you'll just have things like, oh, we're going to go and attack here now, so that'll drive the story forward, or come and defend
Yeah.
us, and so the story will be driven forward by military actions and things like that, rather than like a false sense of urgency that you have to go and do this now because this guy's going to do something horrible.
Yeah, and I do kind of wonder if it'll have that kind of region management that I think we saw in one of the other ones as well. You know, you can control certain regions and those sorts of things. So, because I always love that kind of strategy.
Yeah, I think it will, because Far Cry generally has, like, the last, well, 4 and 5 that had, like, there were 3 regions and that you had to take over, and then you'd go and fight the big bad. So I imagine this one would be sort of similar. Like, I forget his name, Anton.
Yeah, Anton's all that stuff in my head. I can't remember his last name.
But yeah, so he'll have his, like, henchmen or lieutenants, and you'll have to sort them out somehow. I was quite happy to see the return of, like, because in the last couple of Far Cry games that I've played, at least, you've been able to get, like, not companions, but aides, like people that will aid you in stuff. Like, if the Far Cry 5 had a dog you could get that would go around with you and whatnot. And I want that alligator. That alligator is going to be my best friend. Yeah, everybody's been talking about that little dog with the on the wheel, Chorizo, I think he's called.
Oh yes, Chorizo.
Yes. But no, I want the alligator. Yeah.
The alligator. Yeah. I'm sure that you will be able to get pets to go with you and attack on your behalf. Little Chorizo will be chasing and yapping at everybody's heels.
Oh yeah. And something that looks new is the weapon mod system.
Oh yeah. That does look different from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I'm quite interested to see how that goes, and I kind of want, like, 'cause I think if you pre-order it, you get that CD launcher that you saw in the trailer, like it was playing the Macarena, and then you shot it, and there was, like, skipped a little bit, and yeah. But I quite like that, so I'm keen to have a look at some of those weapons and see what I can concoct.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to hunt down that trailer, wonderful Jim here did do an article in the middle of the night, so you can just look up Game on Oz and Far Cry 6. That article will come up for you. Catch up on the trailer and all the good news.
See, lots of good stuff on the website there.
Yeah. We've been having everybody pumping out so many articles recently. I'm feeling like I'm falling behind when you and all the other guys are posting multiple articles a day. It's good team.
Nico's a machine. Like, all the stuff he was putting out during that Final Fantasy 14 event, that was crazy. Huge. And Zulu with his review. I saw he reviewed an M.2 hard drive the other day as well for his tech stuff. And
Kingston hard drive. So if you want to see the benchmarking on that, go and have a look. He takes a very technical take on it, which is really good.
He's very good at breaking down the technical stuff. Our Royce,
Yes, for sure.
But one thing that I'm keen to see more of, and I'm glad Inferno, or the historian as he's known in the community there, he's started a series of articles on the Xbox's 20th anniversary, which is
he has.
Yeah. I'm very keen to see some of those ideas, particularly like the first one that he's written on it is just sort of a highlights of it and whatnot. But I think the first person he's going to be talking to about that is Dan the Internet, about his experiences when the first Xbox came out.
Well, I mean, as Inferno points out in the article, Captain Albion is Dan the Internet's name, handle across a few channels. So for anybody who's a Fable fan, they know where that one's from. Unless it's a multi-reference to different things, but that's where I know Albion from.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure myself, and it's one of my great shames that I never got to play Fable either. But I didn't come into Xbox until the 360 though. Like I got a 360 at launch.
Starter.
Yeah, I had a bit of OG Xbox play because a mate had a couple of mates had it, and we always do Halo. And I remember going around one of his places, and another mate had brought around the Xbox, and we were doing the System Link multiplayer. So I had 2 TVs with the 2 systems and 4 people on each. So we had 8 person multiplayer. It was so good. Yeah.
I remember the Halo LANs we had linking up all of our systems. It was so much fun. I really joke with a lot of my friends about the original Xbox because I didn't have that many games for it. One of the Baldur's Gate games came out, which was cool, but one of the games I delved into really sincerely and wholeheartedly was Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball.
Really?
And I swear, yeah. like 99% of people that were playing that game were not playing it for the same reason I was. Because it was essentially like a dating sim cross volleyball. So you'd play volleyball and you'd have these other silly mini games as well. But the whole idea was you'd play volleyball against the people you wanted to date and you'd buy them gifts and stuff.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah, anyway. So there was a whole dating sim angle to it, which, yes, I was happily playing as a teenager, but yes.
That's it. You didn't know. You just wanted the volleyball. Yeah.
That's right. I was just playing the volleyball. It wasn't about the other things bouncing around.
I do remember at the time, like, when that came out and like all the screenshots were all the female fighters in there, because Dead or Alive's a fighting game, and then all of a sudden they've got this volleyball game with bouncing everything, and it was just like,
the series was definitely famous for its physics. For
sure. That's right. But I do remember. Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, no, you go.
I was just going to say, and I did get the 360 at launch, though. I remember playing Perfect Dark Zero, which for me was quite cool because I missed out on Perfect Dark on the Nintendo 64, but Perfect Dark Zero I quite liked. And it wasn't until I went back and played the original Perfect Dark on Rare Replay only a year or so ago that I realized how shit Perfect Dark Zero actually was. It was, but for me as a like coming into the series, I thought, oh yeah, this is a pretty cool shooter. I quite like this, and but the original Perfect Dark still blew it out of the water. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Was the Perfect Dark people the same people that made
GoldenEye?
GoldenEye, yeah. So they went GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, and then what you guys were talking about last week. Some of the guys went on to do Time Splitters. So I really like that thread through that they've made it through, and then hopefully some of those people are making the new Time Splitters for us, which will be cool.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, because I think it must have been probably a bit before 360 came out, because Rare was a second-party Nintendo developer, which is where they put out they did Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo, and then they did Donkey Kong 64, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, and then I think it must have been somewhere around there they got sold to Microsoft, which is when they did Perfect Dark Zero. But I think a lot of the people that behind the scenes moved on to other things, which is what happens sometimes. You don't hold down the same job for forever, but it was cool.
Yeah. I've got some calls for some other reboots in chat. Luke is calling for a Dead or Alive reboot. They're still making the fighting games. Just the beach volleyball game, I think, has been left in the dust, left in the sand. There we go.
Wing Commander reboot. Ooh, that'd be a good one to see how that would go these days.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, so I am very excited to hear everybody's stories coming up with the Xbox, because I am a fangirl of all consoles, and really what it comes down to is the games for me. So I'm going to be pouring my heart out about a few of my favorite Xbox games for sure.
Oh my God, like the only themed console I ever got was an Xbox 360, the R2-D2 one. Did you ever see that one?
No, I didn't.
So the whole it was in the form of like one of the newer Xbox 360, so it wasn't as big and as bulky as the original one. But it just so happened that my original launch 360, about 3 or 4 years in, got the red ring of death, and I've gone, well, it must be a sign, so I'm going to upgrade to this other one. But yeah, like it was the blue and white R2 clamshell sort of thing, and when you press the power on and eject buttons, it made R2-D2 noises.
That is so cool.
And it was good, and it came with a gold controller for C-3PO as well, which was pretty good. Yeah.
Please tell me you did not sell it.
I did. I went through I think I traded it in to get Xbox One. I wish I didn't, because like I went through, when I was sort of early 20s, I went through a phase like I would trawl through secondhand marts all over the joint to collect old video games and stuff like that. I had an Atari Jaguar at one point. Like I don't.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think I ever actually played it, but the controller was just awful. but that was the sort of thing that I had. And then I decided that I was getting out of collecting of it and was selling stuff, and sort of a time in my life when I was getting serious and moved away from video games a bit, but then I woke up and came back to video games. But there was a whole heap of stuff that I just sold. And although one thing I'm glad I held on to, because it's worth, well, not just because it's worth a mint, but because it's just so rare and glorious, is I had a whole heap of Super Nintendo stuff and I went to sell it. But I had Secret of Mana there with the map and the book, and for Super Nintendo people, Secret of Mana with everything still in the box is huge. Yeah. And the guy at the shops was very honest. He said, look, man, we'll take that from you, but you're going to get a fraction of what you'll get on eBay. So I took it home intending to put it on eBay, but never put it on eBay. So it's still sitting on the shelf behind me now too. And yeah, good. Except I've got a nice plastic cover for it, so it's all protected now as well. But
thank goodness for that person that stopped you trading it in.
Oh, yeah.
Ravinsky's just said you have to go to gamer jail. You're not allowed to trade things like that.
I know. Yeah, I wouldn't do it anymore. I did trade in my my Xbox One X for the Series X, but that was just a plain old One X. There wasn't anything special about that. But yes, no, I very much regret that.
I only ever traded in one game, and it was a go-karting game that was on the PlayStation. I cannot remember what one it was. It wasn't like a branded one. It was like a new one they'd made, Crazy Karts or something. I can't even remember. But it had so much drift physics in it, and I was just so bad at it. I was like, Dad, this is terrible. Take it back. So anyway, we took it back. And took it to our local cashies and got something else.
Nice. But yeah, so there's lots of Xbox stuff coming out, and it doesn't actually turn 20 till November, but it's going to be a mad few months leading up to that. Like already Xbox has put out like the OG Xbox startup screen and theme that you can have on your Series X, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, featuring all the different game characters and stuff.
Yeah.
It's quite a nostalgia trip.
Oh yeah. One thing I want to try, and I'm dead keen on it, because I love how Microsoft has just gone all in with backwards compatibility to the point where I saw a video clip of someone, they've system linked an OG Xbox, a 360, an Xbox One, and an Xbox Series X, and they were all playing the same game on System Link. Like multiplayer together. Yeah, it's like so cool. I want to have a go at that someday, just to do it.
Just to do it. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so that'll be an interesting time, and looking forward to seeing the articles that Inferno comes up with, and first chat off the rank with Dan the Internet. But yeah, do you remember those days? You just play a game just because. Like how good was that? Like now it seems a lot of the time that I playing games, it's for something, not just to sit back and enjoy them.
Yeah, I think especially being in the sphere of content creation, you're either streaming or you're putting something on YouTube or you're putting something on your Insta. So this last week, Pete's really been highlighting that, and so it's Game on Oz with It's Okay to Play as our hashtag. So just, remember when you were back in uni or back at school, me playing Final Fantasy X on my PlayStation in my bedroom till all hours of the night on the weekends. That's why we all started gaming. We all grew our love of gaming that way, and we've got to take time to go back to that.
That's it. Yeah, just have those not necessarily offline, because online games are still good, but just with no expectations, just where you're just going along at your own speed, because like games aren't meant to be like, especially the big open world games, they're not meant to be charged through. Games with 80 plus hours content, they're not meant to be finished in 30 and just do the main story. Take your time. It's one thing I've always loved, like especially it's what I did with Assassin's Creed Valhalla end of last year. God, it's that long ago already. Where I just, you'd walk from point to point and you'd just investigate everything on the way, and it was just it's so cool and relaxing. You could lose yourself in that game for hours and still not progress any of the main story, and that was just really amazing for me.
Yeah, I've seen a few people talking about playing through the new Mass Effect re-release and just choosing not to stream it because they want to be able to take their time and chill with it and just experience all those amazing things they did when they were a younger gamer. So just make time for yourself, make time for games, and make sure you're still having the fun you once had, because you don't want to burn out on games. Games will be there with you forever if you let them.
And one thing I'm guilty of as well, if I start a game on stream, I tend to try and finish it on stream. So, but you don't need to do that. Like, if you've played a game on stream, you could just take it offline. Like, if it's something that you want to take your time with, just change it up.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah, agreed.
Well, yeah, so that'll be interesting coming to seeing people how they manage that, and it's kind of the antithesis of that. Again, that was a big word. I'm not even sure I used that word right.
Antithesis?
But yeah, but
I'll pay it.
of everything. Like, you know, we kind of live on social media as well, and it's an unfortunate fact of content creation, especially if you're trying to make a living off of it, that it's really hard to take breaks, because if you stop for even a week, viewer numbers drop, subs drop. It's hard, but you do need to take that time and just look after yourself.
Yep, you only get one you.
That's it.
There'll always be another sub, there'll be another follow, but there will not be another you.
But yeah. But moving on, I saw something interesting today, and this was something that's happening here in Perth. So I'm hoping there's programs like this all over, but one of the local universities here, Murdoch Uni, who already have a pretty big focus on esports and gaming in general. I think they do a lot of game dev degrees and things like that. But in the July school holidays this year, they're actually running some esports and gaming workshops for high school kids. So, like, for 3 days, they can go and do some cool stuff to do with esports and gaming. So I had a quick look, and there was like 1 day of esports stuff, like practicing and good sportsmanship in esports, and how to not manage, but communicate with your team and work well with them. Another day of doing things like analyzing a game and seeing how it all works together, as well as things like game and art design and running tournaments. And then another day was all about streaming and building communities, as well as a bit of games journalism as well. So I thought that was a pretty cool option for anybody in school holidays that is looking for something to do here in Perth.
I think it's really cool that you can have the opportunity as a kid to kind of dip your toes into these things and kind of investigate if you want to make it a career or not. So it's awesome that they're providing those opportunities. I mean, there's certainly high school esports leagues around the places, but I haven't heard of many places doing workshops and things like this. So good on Murdoch for running it, and hopefully they get a good turnout and more places around the country start doing it as well.
Fingers crossed, because I know that, like, Murdoch Uni here in Perth, it was probably about a year ago, they were announced plans to build an esports stadium, which would be amazing to see here in Perth. Like, something like Fortress Melbourne here in Perth would be just brilliant. I'd love that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Then maybe we can get people flying over and see PGG play live or something. That'd be good.
Oh, man.
Home games.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I always wondered if esports would end up the same way as like AFL, where we pretty much just always go over to the eastern states, or if one day somewhere like, I'm going to say Adelaide, I'm from Adelaide, but somewhere from Adelaide or Perth will pick up the lead, and we'll all end up flying across the other side of the country for grand finals of esports events. So
yeah,
we can maybe hope.
We can hope. I think a lot of the hope with this esports stadium that they were trying to build here was to try and attract some of the Asian market as well, because I've been Perth. It's just as quick for us to fly to Southeast Asia as it is to go over east. So I'm hoping they'll think that they'll come over here and use that. But it will be really cool if we can see some some higher profile games here, like the LCO.
Like the LCO. I love that segue. So the
Did it?
LCO is coming back. It's coming back for Split 2 for anybody who's been keeping their eyes out. Competition starts back on the 15th of June, and they'll be running games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And then later in the season, so from July the 9th, they'll also be doing some Super Weeks. So they'll be starting up games on Fridays as well. But what I really love, because they've kind of hinted at it, but not officially from LCO, people are kind of making some assumptions. The dates for the finals might line up with the Melbourne Esports Open.
Oh.
So we could be getting an inland event, maybe, depending on the COVID situation of the LCO at MEO. So
that would be brilliant.
Yeah, a lot of conjecture, obviously, going on about that. Nothing official has been announced, but it'll be good to see if that all comes together. The other thing is that Riot has chipped in 30k USD this time for the winners, which is wonderful. So the winners will take away a nice cash prize as well.
Yeah, that's good. I did see that, and it'll be good if they can have, like, doing these things online are great, but there's nothing like getting together with some people and doing, like, a group of us here in Perth went to, actually it was at Murdoch Uni. There's like a community outdoor cinema that Telethon runs, which is a children's charity here in Perth, and that's based on the Murdoch Uni grounds. And so they got together. I think Pentanet got involved as well and showed the world's final last year on the big screen.
Oh yes, yeah. You and Gamma and who else went to that one? There was a few.
Kaiju Kai went and we ran into a few other people, like Mighty Blue Justice was there, who's in our community every now and then. But yeah, it was really cool to see. So be good to see the LCO up again. I think there's been a couple of player movements. I haven't been quite across that yet. But
Pentanet GG, God love them. I keep putting up joke posts about Pabu leaving, and it was getting to the point where other regions, so because the Brazil region and PGG now have such a good relationship, they were posting up joke posts about how Pabu was joining their soccer league. It was driving me crazy because I keep looking at my phone, and there was like a couple of moves, like internationally with a few things going on. One big bit of news is an OC player, King, has been moved up to the front, the starting lineup is what I like to call it, for Cloud9 for League of Legends. So that's huge for OCE. We're slowly taking over everywhere. But yeah, every day tuning into Twitter and seeing them have one of their joke moves, and I was like, oh, is this real? Is this not? Can't deal with it.
Yeah. Especially when it's done on like the official like stationery logos and letterheads and things like that. Yes. It makes it hard to tell what's going on and what's not.
But there has been some discussions of some of the OCE players that went over to North America to join their up and coming team leagues, that they might be coming back. I think a couple of the guys are coming back to join Peace potentially. Ooh. So that'll be good. I think we'll have a few new faces back in the league. So make it for an exciting season too.
I hope so. Like my concern, like PGG really dominated the league last year on Split 1. And I was worried that they'd come back from MSI and have all this new experience and all these new ways to play. And they would just waffle stomp the whole freaking league again. But if there's some players coming back from overseas, maybe that'll even out the competition a bit.
And it's always a little bit of a double-edged sword, because all of the OCE teams have now seen Pentanet PG get in a whole lot more games, and they've been able to study their playbooks a little bit more. So it'll depend to see if PGG have any more tricks up their sleeve to throw at the OCE teams. They might be running a bit dry. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll definitely have to check it out on the 15th of June to see how that goes on Split 2 for LCO.
Yes.
So I did see there was another bit of news there, but there was another esports team, FlyQuest. They'd changed their logo a little bit.
They did, yeah. So this is something that I shared to you earlier
Mm,
today that FlyQuest, they've been an established esports team for a while, and they've had a real environmental focus. So they've,
mm,
especially for the last 3 years, been doing a lot of fundraising and awareness for environmental campaigns, raising a whole lot of money for different causes. And they decided to rebrand. So their new logo is now a Q with a leaf in the middle, a capital Q with a leaf in the
mm,
middle, compared to before where it was an F and a Q kind of overlaid, quite, typically esports,
mm,
angular and sharp and competitive. The leaf is very soft and not common to what we would see in esports logos.
mm. Yeah, it does feel a bit, because when you were showing it to me and comparing the two old logos, it does feel like you say a little bit softer, a little bit more rounder edges. Because even the Q on the old logo was still pretty like harsh lines where there could be harsh lines, sort of thing.
Mm.
But now it's like very very soft. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it got me thinking
Mm.
in line for tonight's big question.
Oh, big question.
Do we do the song, or are we gonna
Oh,
just
I think now that
let
you
it slide?
now that you've mentioned it, I think I have to. So yeah,
We
let's
have to.
yeah, all right.
I have to try and time it with you because I can never hear
Yes. I don't have the song at the moment either. So we'll just be saying it. Ready? Are we ready? We're
All
gonna
right.
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Big
Big,
big
big,
big big
big, big,
big
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 big,
big 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 big
big,
big
big, big,
big
big,
big
big question.
question. It's a
It's
bloody
a
big.
bloody big. Sorry,
That's
I
all right. We got
broke.
there.
I
That's all right.
broke.
Ah, that's okay. Good effort. Good effort, though. We'll get it. We'll get there.
How many bigs is it?
I don't know. I just,
I think I need a countdown.
yeah,
Without the music cues
yeah.
of the 4 bars, I
Mm.
lose track completely.
Uh, uh,
Anyway,
but yes, what is your big question for this evening then?
so obviously with this change of logo with Flight Quest, it kind of made me start thinking about games and esports teams and their names and things, because obviously FlyQuest now going a bit softer. There's some other softer, I want to say softer, I don't know if that's the
Mhm,
right word, but more friendly names like
mhm,
the Unicorns of Love we
mhm.
saw out of the Russia region, from the League of Legends. Locally in the Rainbow Six League, we've got Rufflecopter. Um, and for those of you who tuned into the Rainbow Six Invitational, we had Ninjas in Pajamas take
Ninjas in
out the
pajamas.
international championship for that. So, what I really wanted to ask everybody was if you could call your esports team anything. You had the reins of an amazing esports team. What are you going to call it? What are you
Ooh.
going to call it?
I think this being a very Australian one, and with Straight Jacket Jim being my name, how about straight to the pool room?
Oh, straight to the
Oh,
pool
well,
room.
straight STR8 to the pool
Yeah,
room.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Like mate would say.
yeah,
Straight. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Or,
That's perfect. Oh man,
oh,
I've been thinking about this a lot and I still honestly don't know because I think I've kind of frame it around whatever game my team was, being the best at.
mm.
Um, so I was throwing around a few ideas. We've got Ravinsky in chat. Mine would be based off my community name. So Ninja Muppets is
Oh
what she would go
yes.
with.
I'm
So I
I'm
like
picturing
that.
like that fight scene in Team America with the puppets and like yeah,
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Yes. Sorry, my brain just automatically went to Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy just going.
Oh yeah, well that too, yeah.
more
But
more Muppets, traditional Jim Henson Muppets
yeah.
rather than puppets.
Oh yeah, yeah. But that'd be cool. I also thought of
Yes.
like insane in the gameplay, like a little bit of a musical
Oh,
reference.
I really like that.
So my two
Oh,
best ideas I've had. That's it for me for the year. Thank you. I'm done. I'm going. Bye.
see,
Yeah.
see you, Jim. I really should have actually thought of something by now, and I still can't. My brain is just not quite there. I think I would love it if it kind of connected back to Magical Girls
Mm,
somehow. Just because they're always like teams of five, right? Like the Sailor Moon girls or something like
mm.
that. So, um, Maybe like the Sailor Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'll think
Yeah.
about it. We'll work on it. I'll
We'll
get back to you.
That's it. We'll get that up on socials on Friday and give you a bit of time to think about that.
Yes.
But,
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, well, that's a good question. I like that one. But
well, it's one of those things where, you know, I've got a few friends that are martial artists and fighters, and the question that they always get asked is, "What would be your entrance theme?" Which, you know, similar to pro wrestlers as well. What would be? And I feel like this is the equivalent in esports, because the individual players generally don't get a theme or anything, but they might be able to take some ownership of a name if they're starting their own team.
That's it. Yeah. No, good one. Cool. Oh, well, that's about all the time we have tonight. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Thank you, Natty, for joining us tonight.
No worries. Thank you, Jim, for having me. And thank you to the wonderful people joining us in Twitch chat. We had Gamma and Ravinsky. We also had Lukey Bangers pop by and a few others. So thank you for stopping by.
That's it. A few members of our GOA members club as well. So thank you for being a part of that. But yeah, so hopefully, I think Pete and Dan should be back next week. So we'll get back to how they're doing things. I think Pete's back on board then. So hopefully we'll see them back and probably get some news about little Bub.
Hopefully. Yeah. That would be lovely. Got to have some updates.
Maybe some photos of him in his GOA onesie.
Yes.
But thank you, everyone. Oh, sorry, go on.
What do we have to do before we go? We don't want to forget to do something.
I don't know. I have problems remembering to do something sometimes.
Can anybody remember what do we need to do before we
I got it. Don't forget to save.
Don't forget to save. Folks. Yeah.